Alex Chen had never imagined that his life would lead him to the far reaches of space, let alone to serve as a caretaker for an alien queen. He had spent most of his life in hospitals on Earth, quietly helping patients, organizing schedules, and keeping things running smoothly. The work was predictable, safe, and ordinary. But the message that arrived on a rainy Monday morning changed everything. Alex Chen, you have been selected for an interstellar assignment. Report to the orbital palace of Queen Zephyra for caretaking duties. At first, Alex thought it was a mistake. Maybe a scam? But the official signature, the emblem of the United Human Space Agency, left no room for doubt. A week later, he found himself in a shuttle hurtling past planets and star systems he had only seen in textbooks. The orbital palace floated above a luminous blue planet, shimmering with rings of energy that looked like sunlight trapped in liquid. Its towers curved elegantly, almost like giant waves frozen in time. Alex felt his stomach tighten. He was no longer in a hospital corridor. He was somewhere utterly alien. He stepped off the shuttle into a hall that glowed softly with pale green light. The walls seemed alive, moving slightly as if they were breathing. A tall figure approached, her shape unlike anything Alex had ever seen. She had skin that glimmered faintly like opal, eyes that reflected galaxies, and her movements were smooth and deliberate. This was Queen Zephyra. "Welcome, Alex Chen," she said in a voice that was both melodic and commanding. "We have been expecting you." Alex bowed awkwardly. "Thank you, Your Majesty. I am honored to be here." Zephyra tilted her head slightly, observing him with quiet curiosity. "You are human. Tell me, what do you know of caretaking?" Alex swallowed. "I have experience in medical support, patient care, and administration. I can organize schedules, manage health protocols, and assist with daily routines." The Queen's eyes flickered with what Alex thought might be amusement. "We require more than routine assistance," she said. "Our needs are unique. Can you adapt to situations you have never encountered before?" Alex nodded. "Yes, Your Majesty. I'm a fast learner." A soft chime echoed through the hall. Zephyr turned, her gaze sweeping the space. "The palace will be your domain. You will see to my health, comfort, and activities. You may begin by familiarizing yourself with the palace and its systems." Alex followed as she led him through corridors that defied logic. Some rooms floated in midair, connected by bridges of light. Others contained plants that moved toward him as if sensing his presence. The palace was alive, not in the sense of electricity or machinery, but in something more profound, something almost aware. This palace. It watches, it listens, Zephyra explained. But it does not judge. It responds. You must learn to respond as well. Alex tried to absorb everything. He had been trained to observe, to be precise, to notice subtle changes in patients. But this was different. Every plant, every panel, even the air itself seemed to carry intention. He realized quickly that a human approach would not be enough. He needed curiosity, patience, and imagination after the initial tour. Alex was shown to his quarters. They were surprisingly comfortable, with soft surfaces that adjusted to his body automatically. A window gave a clear view of the planet below, its oceans sparkling, cities glowing faintly. He sat for a moment, allowing himself to imagine what life might be like here. A soft chime interrupted his thoughts. A small screen activated, and Zephyr's face appeared. "Alex, I trust your arrival is not overwhelming?" Alex laughed nervously. "It's different, Your Majesty, but I can manage." "Good, you will need to. There are aspects of life here that no human preparation can cover. You will learn through experience. And sometimes, you must rely on intuition." Alex frowned slightly. "Intuition?" "Yes," she said. "Humans are strange creatures. You do not follow the same patterns as my people. But that is valuable. Your unpredictability is useful." Alex felt a shiver of both excitement and anxiety. He had expected challenges, but he had not expected to be valued for his unpredictability. He wondered what kind of challenges awaited him. Over the next few hours, Alex began his work. He observed the Queen's routines, which were unlike any human schedule. She practiced a form of meditation that made the room shimmer with colors. and she interacted with floating crystals that seemed to respond to her thoughts. Meals were more than food, they were sensory experiences, where textures, lights, and fragrances combined in ways he could barely understand. Alex realized quickly that he could not rely on logic alone. He had to learn the Queen's patterns, anticipate her needs, and sometimes act before she even spoke. Mistakes were not just mistakes here, they could disrupt the rhythm of the palace. That evening, Alex entered the Queen's private chamber for the first official session. Zephyr sat upon a platform of light, her gaze fixed on him. "Today, we begin with understanding," she said. "I want to know you, and you must learn to know me. Tell me about Earth, about your life." Alex hesitated, then smiled. "I'm from a city called New York. I worked in hospitals, mostly behind the scenes, helping people live their lives more comfortably. I like music, reading, and sometimes quiet walks in the park." Zephyr's eyes brightened slightly. "Music, reading, these are human creations. We do not have them in the same way. What do they feel like?" Alex took a deep breath. "Music can make you feel happy, sad, excited, or calm, sometimes all at once. Reading, it lets you live in someone else's mind, experience their story, their struggles, their dreams." Zephyr leaned closer. "Curious. We Xylarians do not often seek such experiences. We focus on knowledge, order, and structure, yet your description suggests a richness we do not have." Alex noticed a subtle tension in her posture, a quiet yearning. "Perhaps you can experience it if you allow yourself," he said carefully. For a long moment, the room was silent. Then Zephyr spoke, her voice softer. "Perhaps you will teach me, Alex, but be warned. My desires are not simple. They may be strange, even for you." Alex nodded, understanding that this was more than a job. It was a journey into the unknown. He did not know exactly what the Queen wanted, but he sensed that she was curious, perhaps even lonely in her own way. And he felt a strange excitement. This was no ordinary caretaker role. He was stepping into something bigger, something beyond Earth, beyond humanity, beyond the limits of what he thought he could handle. That night, Alex lay in his quarters staring at the distant stars. The palace hummed quietly around him, alive in ways he could feel but not fully comprehend. And somewhere in its glowing halls, the Queen observed him with eyes that held the depth of galaxies. Alex realized one thing clearly: this assignment would change him. It would test his patience, his creativity, and his heart. And he was ready because for the first time in his life, the unknown did not frighten him. It called him. The next morning, Alex awoke to a soft hum that filled the palace. It was not loud, but it vibrated through the floor and walls, as if the building itself were breathing. For a moment, he lay still, letting the sensation sink in. He had never felt anything like it on Earth. His first task of the day was to observe Queen Zephyr's morning routine. As he entered her chamber, he saw her sitting on a platform of light, surrounded by floating crystals that pulsed gently. Each crystal seemed to vibrate with a rhythm of its own. The Queen's eyes closed, and she moved her hands slowly, almost like she was conducting an invisible orchestra. Alex watched in awe. "What is she doing?" He whispered to himself. It was not meditation in any way he had known. The crystals responded to her movements, creating a symphony of colors and faint sounds that Alex could feel in his chest. He realized that every movement, every gesture, carried meaning. Zephyr was not just performing a routine. She was communicating, perhaps even with the palace itself. "Alex." Zephyr's voice broke his thoughts, soft but firm. "Come closer. You will learn to participate, not merely observe." Alex stepped forward cautiously. "Yes, Your Majesty, you must attune yourself to the flow," she said. "Feel it, listen to the resonance. Do not think, do not analyze, respond." Alex closed his eyes and tried to feel what she felt. At first, he sensed nothing but a gentle vibration in the floor. Then, slowly, the hum of the palace, the pulses of the crystals, and even the faint scent of the air combined into a pattern. He moved his hand instinctively, and one crystal responded with a brighter pulse. Zephyr opened her eyes and smiled faintly. "Good. Your mind is not trained for this. yet your intuition guides you. Humans are unpredictable, yes, but capable. Alex nodded, feeling a strange sense of pride. He had survived hospitals, emergencies, and difficult patients. But this was something entirely new. After the morning ritual, Alex followed the queen to the dining chamber. Here, the concept of a meal was unlike anything on Earth. Floating orbs of light held nutrients, fragrances, and taste in perfect balance. As Alex touched an orb, it dissolved into a burst of flavor that danced across his tongue. Zephyr watched him carefully, noting his reactions. "You enjoy it?" she asked. "Yes," Alex replied. "It's incredible. I've never tasted anything like this." Zephyr's eyes sparkled. "I am glad. It pleases me to share such experiences. But remember, enjoyment is not just taste. You will learn that every sensation carries a purpose." The queen's hidden desires began to reveal themselves in small, subtle ways. She did not simply seek comfort or efficiency. She sought experience. She wanted to feel the unpredictability, the curiosity, and even the imperfections that humans carried. Alex realized that his role was not only to care for her body, but also to introduce her to the richness of life, something her species had not fully explored, and he found himself excited by the challenge. In the following days, Alex immersed himself in the palace's rhythms. He learned to navigate corridors that seemed to shift and rearrange themselves, to communicate with the plants that responded to sound and touch, and to understand the floating interface panels that required thought and emotion rather than words. One afternoon, Zephyr led him to a room filled with light and mist. "This is the Chamber of Memories," she explained. "Here, we store experiences, emotions, and knowledge. We Xylarians can relive moments from the past with perfect clarity, but we do not understand imagination in the human sense. Perhaps you can teach me." Alex approached cautiously. He had never worked with memory technology before. He touched a glowing panel, and a vision appeared before him, a memory of a rainy day on Earth. Children laughing and playing in puddles. The sound, smell, and motion felt real, almost as if he were standing in the moment again. Zephyr's eyes widened. Curious. Humans experience the same memory in countless ways. Each moment carries infinite possibilities. "Yes," Alex said softly. "And sometimes we imagine things that never happen just for joy, curiosity, or learning." The queen tilted her head. "Imagination. We Xylarians do not prioritize it. Perhaps it is the missing element." From that day, Alex became both caretaker and teacher. He introduced Zephyr to simple human creations, music played through vibrating crystals, short stories projected in light, even small jokes that relied on timing and wordplay. At first, Zephyr struggled to understand, her mind structured for logic and order. But slowly, she began to react, to laugh, to pause and wonder, to ask questions that revealed genuine curiosity. Alex noticed something remarkable. Zephyr's hidden desires were not selfish or trivial. She sought connection, the thrill of discovery, and the joy of novelty. She wanted to understand life in a way her structured species had never encouraged. One evening, after a day filled with experiments in art and music, Alex and Zephyr sat together in the observation deck. Below them, the blue planet rotated slowly, its oceans glowing faintly. "Alex," she said quietly, "I did not expect that a human could show me so much. You introduced me to chaos, unpredictability, and feeling. I've appreciated it." Alex smiled. "That's what humans do. We find meaning not just in structure, but in experience, curiosity, and emotion. It's messy, sometimes, but it's real." Zephyr nodded slowly. "Perhaps. This is why I desired a human caretaker. Not for efficiency, not for obedience, but for life itself. You bring life to my palace, Alex." The words struck him. He had expected challenges, maybe danger, but not this, a moment of true understanding between species. For the first time, he saw that his work was not just about caretaking. It was about bridging worlds. The next few days continued in a similar rhythm. Alex guided Zephyr through small adventures within the palace, tasting earth fruits replicated with Xylarian technology, playing games of strategy and chance. exploring holographic simulations of forests, oceans, and cities. Each activity revealed more about her hidden desires, the longing to explore, to understand unpredictability, and to experience novelty. One afternoon, Alex observed something unexpected. Zephyr lingered by a floating pool of liquid light, her reflection shifting as the liquid moved. She stared at herself for a long time, her expression unreadable. "Your Majesty?" Alex asked gently. She turned, her eyes reflecting a faint sadness. "I wonder, can one ever truly experience life without others to share it with? Knowledge alone is not enough. I can store facts, relive memories, understand patterns. But it is not the same as connection." Alex nodded, understanding more than words could convey. Life is meant to be shared. That's why humans tell stories, laugh together, and care for one another. Connection makes experience real. Zephyr considered this, then smiled faintly. "Then you are not just a caretaker, Alex. You are a companion in experience. Perhaps that is why I required you?" Alex felt a warmth in his chest. He had anticipated difficulty, isolation, and confusion. Instead, he found purpose, trust, and even friendship in the most unexpected of places. As the days passed, the bond between human and queen deepened. Zephyr's hidden desires became clearer. She craved not control or power, but understanding, novelty, and connection. And Alex realized that these desires were not strange or alien, they were universal. Even across galaxies, life sought curiosity, joy, and companionship. That evening, as Alex prepared his notes for the day, he looked out at the endless stars. He thought of Earth, of familiar streets and sounds, and of the strange, vibrant palace that had become his home. The work ahead would be challenging. Zephyr's desires were complex, and the palace itself held mysteries yet to be revealed. But for the first time, Alex did not fear the unknown. He welcomed it. He had learned that understanding another being, especially one so different, required patience, creativity, and heart. And he had these in abundance. For the first time in his life, Alex felt truly alive. Not just a caretaker, but a bridge between worlds. And somewhere in the palace, Queen Zephyr watched him with a mixture of curiosity, trust, and admiration, ready to explore the unknown together. The morning light filtered through the floating panels of the palace, casting gentle patterns across the floor. Alex's chin stretched and rubbed his eyes, ready for another day of unusual challenges. Each day with Queen Zephyr revealed something new, and today promised to be no different. Zephyr had summoned him early. When Alex entered the chamber, he found her standing before a large, holographic display of swirling colors. Her hands moved through the air, shaping and reshaping the projections with precision and elegance. "Good morning, Alex," she said, her voice calm but charged with anticipation. "Today, we will explore something I have never experienced before, human creativity expressed through senses." Alex blinked. "Your Majesty, could you explain what you mean?" She tilted her head, studying him. "You humans create things that are not necessary for survival. Music, stories, games, colors, flavors, patterns. You invent joy. I wish to understand this fully, to live it, not merely observe it." Alex's heart quickened. He had suspected that her curiosity ran deep. But this was more than curiosity. It was a desire to experience the essence of humanity itself. "Very well," he said. "Then we will start with something simple, music." He guided Zephyr to a room filled with floating instruments and resonating crystals. Alex tapped a panel, producing soft notes that floated in the air. The queen listened intently, her eyes wide with wonder. The notes seemed to wrap around her, touching places he could not see. "It is strange," she whispered. "I feel emotions, joy, sadness, excitement." "Yes," Alex said. "Music can carry many emotions at once. It is like life itself, sometimes simple, sometimes messy, but always real." Zephyr reached out, touching one of the crystals. It glowed brighter, vibrating in response to her curiosity. She closed her eyes, letting the music move through her. Alex watched closely, amazed at how quickly she absorbed and reacted to each note. "Now," Alex continued, Let's try something interactive. He activated a simulation of an earth forest. Trees shimmered in gentle green light, and soft sounds of birds and water filled the room. Zephyr stepped into the holographic forest, reaching out to touch the leaves. Each leaf responded with texture, warmth, and faint fragrance. She gasped softly. It is alive. Not truly alive, but it is convincing. I understand why humans seek beauty in nature. Alex smiled. It's not just beauty, it's connection. You feel part of something larger than yourself, even in the simulation. Zephyr paused, her eyes thoughtful. I wish to feel it fully, but I sense there is more something humans feel that goes beyond observation. Alex nodded. You mean imagination and surprise. Humans delight in the unexpected. That is what makes life exciting. He decided to push the experiment further. He created a small game where holographic animals moved unpredictably. Zephyr had to follow them, guess their patterns, and sometimes fail. At first, she hesitated, unused to uncertainty. But as she tried again, she began to laugh, a sound both melodic and foreign to Alex. Her laughter filled the chamber, and he felt the thrill of success. She was beginning to experience the unpredictability of human life, even in small, controlled ways. You laugh? Naturally, Alex said. Humans use laughter to express joy, surprise, or even relief. Zephyr tilted her head. It feels different from thought or knowledge. It is immediate, and I enjoy it. Encouraged, Alex introduced her to other small human experiences. He replicated earth fruits using Xylarian technology so that she could taste sweetness, bitterness, and sourness in surprising combinations. He showed her simple puzzles and logic games where the outcomes were uncertain, and she experienced the thrill of success and the frustration of failure. Through these experiments, Alex noticed something remarkable. Zephyr's hidden desires were emerging clearly. She did not crave control, domination, or luxury. She craved experience, emotional, unpredictable, and uniquely human. She wanted to feel, to laugh, to be surprised, and to explore the unknown. One evening, Alex introduced a story from Earth, a tale of adventure and courage. He projected the narrative in light, so Zephyr could see the characters' faces, hear their voices, and even sense the environment through subtle sensory cues. As the story unfolded, Zephyr's reactions were instantaneous. She gasped when danger appeared, her eyes softened at moments of kindness, and her fingers twitched with anticipation during tense scenes. Alex realized that she was not merely watching, she was living it. Alex, she whispered, this is extraordinary. I understand courage, fear, hope, all from beings I have never met. It is beautiful. Yes, Your Majesty, he replied. Stories are how humans share life. They teach, inspire, and connect us across time and space. For the first time, Zephyr hesitated, as if reflecting deeply. I wish to explore further. I do not wish to remain in observation. I want to participate, to create, to contribute. Alex felt the thrill of pride. Then we will do that. Let's create something together. He guided her through the process of designing a simple human-like game. They invented rules, colors, and challenges. Zephyr's mind adapted quickly, her logical thinking merging with her new experiences of unpredictability and fun. When they completed the game, she looked at him with admiration and excitement. This is delightful, she said. Not perfect, yet it is. Alive, it has meaning. You have taught me that imperfection carries its own beauty. Alex smiled. Humans understand that well. Life is never perfect, but it is still worth living, exploring, and sharing. Over the next several days, Alex continued to guide Zephyr through increasingly complex human experiences. He introduced humor, letting her decipher puns and jokes. He introduced simple art, showing her how colors, lines, and shapes could convey emotion. He even shared earth music with multiple instruments, creating harmonies that evoked tension, calm, and excitement simultaneously. Each experiment revealed more of her hidden desires. She wanted connection, discovery, and creativity. She wanted to feel unpredictability and to share it with others. She wanted life itself not as a ruler with absolute knowledge, but as a being capable of curiosity and joy. One evening, after a long day of experiments. Zephyra and Alex sat in the observation deck, looking at the stars. The blue planet below them reflected soft light, casting a calming glow across their faces. Alex. Zephyra said quietly, "You have changed my understanding of existence. I thought knowledge alone was enough. I thought order and control were all that mattered. But I see now. They are only part of life. Experience, creativity, and emotion. These are what make existence real." Alex nodded. "Exactly. Humans live in the balance of knowledge and experience. We learn, explore, and sometimes fail. But it is the journey that matters." Zephyr's gaze softened. "Then you are more than a caretaker. You are my guide, my companion, and perhaps the key to new understanding for my people." Alex felt a sense of warmth and purpose. He had expected challenge, maybe difficulty or resistance. Instead, he found excitement, trust, and mutual learning. He had anticipated caretaking duties, but he had discovered something far greater, a partnership across worlds, built on curiosity, creativity, and shared experience. As they sat together, the palace hummed quietly around them. The crystals pulsed in rhythm with the queen's breathing, and the soft vibrations of the walls created a sense of harmony. Alex understood that his experiments had only just begun. Zephyr's curiosity would continue to grow, and with it, their bond would deepen. He also realized that in teaching her, he was learning as well about patience, observation, and the power of human ingenuity. Even a being as advanced as Queen Zephyra could discover joy in simplicity, surprise, and creativity, and Alex felt proud to be part of that journey and somewhere in the palace. The queen smiled faintly, her mind alive with new ideas, new sensations, and the promise of adventures yet to come. She had hidden desires, yes, but they were no longer mysterious. With Alex's guidance, she was beginning to live them fully. The universe beyond the palace remained vast and unknown, but within the floating walls of light, laughter, and learning, human and Xylarian explored together, discovering that life was richer when shared and that even the most advanced mind could be enriched by the unpredictability of another species. The soft hum of the palace had become familiar to Alex, a comforting rhythm that told him all was well. But that morning, a different vibration ran through the walls, a tension he could feel even before any alarm sounded. "Alex," Queen Zephyr called, her voice calm but edged with concern. "I sense disturbance outside the palace." Alex frowned. "Disturbance?" Before she could answer, a holographic display lit up in front of them, showing multiple ships approaching the orbital palace. Their design was alien, sharp, and aggressive, clearly not Xylarian. "They are not friendly," Zephyr said quietly. "They are the Crithian fleet. They know of my experiments. They see my curiosity as weakness." Alex's heart raced. He had prepared for challenges within the palace, but an attack from outside was something else entirely. "What do we do?" he asked. Zephyr's eyes narrowed. "We defend. And you, Alex, must use your human creativity. The palace responds to its inhabitant, but your unpredictable thinking may give us an advantage." Alex swallowed and nodded. The palace was alive in ways he understood, but now they needed to use that life to protect Zephyra. The first Crithian ships appeared near the outer shields. Their weapons glowed ominously, and energy pulses rippled toward the palace. Alex watched the panels and realized that the palace's automated defenses were not enough. They responded to patterns, not surprises. He needed to think like the attackers, but unpredictably. "Zephyra," he said, "we need to trick them. I can use the palace's holograms and illusions to confuse their sensors." She inclined her head. "Do it. I trust your judgment." Alex activated the palace's environmental systems. The corridors shimmered with shifting light, and holographic duplicates of the palace appeared outside, making it impossible for the Crithian ships to identify the real target. He added sudden energy pulses that mimicked defensive weapon fire, drawing some ships away. "Human ingenuity," Zephyr said, a hint of admiration in her voice. "It is effective." But the Crithians were persistent. One ship breached the outer illusions, aiming straight for the palace's central tower. Alex's mind raced. The palace responded to mental commands. But the mental commands of a human were unpredictable. Sometimes it worked. Sometimes it didn't. He needed a plan that combined both logic and unpredictability. He guided Zephyra to the palace's control chamber, where the main energy conduits pulsed with power. "We can reroute energy through the outer shields to create a blinding flash," he said. "It may temporarily disable the attackers and give us time." Zephyra's hands glowed as she focused, synchronizing with the palace's systems. Alex tapped into the auxiliary panels, adjusting the patterns of energy flow to mimic a natural solar flare. The Crithian ship faltered, sensors confused by the sudden burst of light and energy. It worked. Alex shouted, relief rushing through him. Zephyra nodded, her expression focused. "Good, but the battle is not over. We must keep them off balance." Together, they launched a series of creative defenses. Holographic decoys moved unpredictably, carters shifted to trap intruders, and energy pulses simulated threats that did not exist. The Crithians fired blindly, their attacks ineffective against the adaptive, unpredictable palace. Alex realized that Zephyra's hidden desires her curiosity. Her fascination with unpredictability had prepared her mind to respond to the crisis. She did not panic. She adapted, learned quickly, and trusted him. And in turn, he adapted, thinking beyond logic and patterns, using creativity as a weapon. Hours passed in tense coordination. Each move Alex and Zephyra made forced the Crithians to retreat further. The palace itself seemed to respond, its walls shifting to create barriers and traps that Alex could barely understand, but which she guided with intuition. At one point, a Crithian drone breached the inner chamber. Alex grabbed a panel, projecting a holographic duplicate of the queen. The drone fired, hitting the projection, while Zephyra activated a field that neutralized the drone completely. "You think creatively under pressure," she said quietly. "You are." Remarkable. Alex felt a strange pride. He had never thought of himself as remarkable, only capable. But here, in the midst of an alien attack, he realized that human ingenuity, messy, unpredictable, emotional, was powerful in ways even the most advanced technology could not anticipate. As the day wore on, the Crithian fleet began to withdraw. Their attempts to breach the palace had failed repeatedly. Frustrated by the unpredictable strategies of a human and the adaptability of a curious alien queen. Finally, the orbital palace settled into quiet again. The walls hummed softly, the crystals glimmered with calm, and the holographic displays returned to their usual soothing patterns. Alex sank into a chair, exhausted but exhilarated. Zephyra approached him, her expression softening. "You have protected me, Alex, not with brute force, not with strength, but with thought, creativity, and courage. I owe you much. You don't owe me anything, Your Majesty," Alex said, smiling warily. "We work together. That's what matters." She studied him closely. "Humans are unpredictable, yes, but not in chaos. Your unpredictability is precise in its intention. You think creatively, yet you care. That is rare." Alex felt a warmth in his chest. For weeks, he had been teaching Zephyra about human experiences, creativity, and joy. Now, he realized that she was teaching him something in return, that courage, ingenuity, and empathy were universal strengths, even across species. That evening, Alex guided Zephyra to the observation deck. The planet below glowed softly, and the stars shimmered as though celebrating their victory. "Alex," she said quietly, "today you showed me something beyond human experience. You showed me courage, quick thinking, and creativity in action. These are qualities I admire. They are necessary for life, perhaps more than knowledge or power alone." Alex looked at her. "That's what humans do. We adapt, we create, we care. Sometimes we fail, but we try again. That's life." Zephyra nodded slowly, her eyes reflecting the distant stars. "Then perhaps this is the lesson I sought, not in stories, not in taste or art, but in action. In partnership, you have taught me to live fully, even in danger." Alex smiled. "And you've taught me to trust curiosity, to embrace unpredictability, and to see that even in danger, cooperation and creativity can save lives." For the first time since the attack began, Alex felt calm. The palace was safe, the queen was unharmed, and their bond had grown stronger. They had faced a threat from outside together, and in doing so, they had discovered a deeper understanding of each other. As they watched the stars, Alex realized something important. Life, human or Xylarian, was not about power, control, or perfection. It was about experience, creativity, and connection. And even in the vast, dangerous universe, these qualities could triumph over fear and hostility. Zephyr leaned slightly toward him, her eyes reflecting both curiosity and trust. Alex, the universe is vast, and threats may come again. But together, we can face them. Your human qualities, they are valuable beyond measure. Alex felt a surge of determination. Then we'll face them together, Your Majesty. Whatever comes next, we'll handle it creatively, courageously, and together. The palace hummed around them, alive with energy, light, and possibility. Outside, the stars stretched endlessly, a reminder of the vast unknown. But inside, a human and an alien queen had found trust, courage, and friendship, a combination that no force in the universe could easily defeat. And somewhere deep in the heart of the palace, the crystals pulsed gently, as if in agreement. They had witnessed human ingenuity and Xylarian curiosity in action, and they resonated with a sense of hope, adventure, and possibility that would guide both caretaker and queen through the challenges yet to come. The palace was quiet after the Crithian attack, its walls pulsing softly with energy. Alex Chen walked through the corridors, noticing the subtle movements of the palace itself. The plants swayed gently, the light shifted in calming patterns, and the floating crystals glimmered faintly. Everything seemed alive in a new way, as if the palace itself was relieved. Queen Zephyr awaited him in the central chamber. She stood with grace, her eyes reflecting both the stars outside and a new curiosity within. The events of the past days had changed her. She was no longer just a ruler, confined by tradition and logic. She had begun to embrace unpredictability, creativity, and connection, qualities Alex had introduced and nurtured. Alex, she said softly, these days have shown me much. I now understand that knowledge alone is insufficient. Life requires engagement, emotion, and curiosity. I wish to bring this understanding to my people. Alex nodded. You've already experienced a part of humanity. Imagine sharing it with your entire species, how much they could grow. Zephyr smiled faintly. Yes, but first, I want to ensure that you are acknowledged. You have not only cared for me, but guided me, taught me, and protected me. I wish to honor that. Alex felt a warm glow in his chest. Recognition from her was more valuable than any reward. Thank you, Your Majesty. I only did what I could. You trusted me, and that made all the difference. The queen studied him thoughtfully. Trust is rare and valuable. I see now that human qualities, creativity, empathy, unpredictability are strengths. They are remarkable. Alex smiled, feeling both pride and humility. He had been a caretaker, but now he realized his role had been far greater. He had bridged worlds, teaching and learning in equal measure. Over the next few weeks, Alex worked closely with Zephyr to implement new practices within the palace. They designed spaces where Xylarians could experience art, music, and storytelling. Holographic simulations of Earth forests, oceans, and cities were shared, encouraging exploration and wonder. Simple games and puzzles were introduced to stimulate creativity and imagination. Zephyr participated enthusiastically, often laughing or pausing in wonder at the novelty of it all. Alex noticed that her hidden desires, her longing for experience, curiosity, and connection had begun to transform her daily life. She was no longer just a ruler, detached and precise. She was a learner, a participant, and a being capable of delight. One afternoon, Alex guided Zephyr to the palace gardens, where bioluminescent plants glowed softly. This garden is beautiful, Zephyr said, touching a leaf that shimmered under her fingers. But now, with your guidance, it feels alive in a different way. It carries meaning, surprise, and joy. Yes, Alex replied. Humans see the world not just for what it is, but for what it could be. We find joy in discovery, connection, and creativity. Zephyr's eyes softened. I wish to share this vision with my people. Perhaps they will understand that life is richer when we embrace curiosity and connection, not just knowledge and order." Alex nodded. "It will take time, but they can learn, and you will lead by example." That evening, Zephyr summoned a gathering of her advisors and citizens. The grand hall shimmered with light, filled with floating holograms and gentle music. Alex stood beside her, observing quietly as she addressed her people. "My fellow Xylarians," she began, her voice calm and commanding. "We have relied on knowledge and tradition for countless generations. These have served us well, but they are incomplete. Life is not solely about certainty. It is about curiosity, creativity, and shared experience." The citizens listened in silence, their eyes wide. Zephyr continued, "A human, Alex Chen, has taught me this. He has shown me joy in unpredictability, beauty in imagination, and the power of connection. I invite you all to explore these qualities with me." Alex watched as the hall transformed. The citizens interacted with the holographic simulations, laughed at simple games, and explored sensory experiences designed to awaken curiosity. Zephyr guided them gently, her eyes bright with enthusiasm. For the first time in centuries, the Xylarians experienced joy in a new form. They realized that life could be more than precision, in order it could be playful, creative, and shared. Alex felt a sense of wonder and pride. His role as a caretaker had evolved into something far greater. He had sparked a cultural transformation. Days passed, and the palace became a hub of learning, creativity, and shared experience. Zephyr and Alex continued their experiments, introducing new forms of art, stories, and simulations. The Queen's hidden desires were no longer hidden, they were celebrated, explored, and shared. One evening, Alex and Zephyr stood on the observation deck, watching the distant stars. The planet below glowed softly, a reminder of the world they both sought to enrich. "Alex," Zephyr said quietly, "I have learned much from you, not just about humanity, but about connection, curiosity, and courage. You have helped me see that life is not merely survival or control, it is engagement, emotion, and shared experience." Alex smiled. "And I have learned from you, Your Majesty. You've taught me that curiosity, adaptability, and trust can overcome fear and challenge. Even in the vast unknown of space, these qualities make a difference." Zephyr nodded, her eyes reflecting the glow of the stars. "Then we have both learned, grown, and discovered together. Perhaps that is the greatest achievement of all." Alex felt a deep sense of fulfillment. The journey that had begun with uncertainty, fear, and challenge had transformed into a partnership built on trust, creativity, and mutual respect. They had faced danger, explored new experiences, and bridged worlds. "Your Majesty," he said softly, "I am honored to have shared this journey with you." Zephyr's expression softened further. "And I am honored to have learned from you. Perhaps this is only the beginning. There is much to explore within ourselves, with each other, and across the stars." Alex nodded. "Then let us continue, together." The palace pulsed softly around them, alive with energy and light. Outside, the universe stretched endlessly, full of possibilities. But within the palace walls, human and Xylari had found understanding, friendship, and the joy of shared experience. Alex knew that challenges would continue to come. The Crithians were not gone, and the galaxy held countless unknowns. But he also knew that with creativity, courage, and connection, even the most daunting obstacles could be met. Zephyr placed a hand lightly on a crystal, which glimmered and resonated with a gentle hum. "Life is richer when shared, Alex. You have helped me see that. You have shown me the value of unpredictability, curiosity, and joy. For that, I'm grateful." Alex smiled, feeling a warmth that went beyond pride. "And you've shown me that even the most advanced mind can learn from simplicity, from play, and from trust." The stars outside shone brighter than ever, a reminder that the universe was vast and full of wonder. Alex and Zephyr stood together, ready to face whatever came next, guided by curiosity, creativity, and the unbreakable bond they had formed. In that moment, the palace felt more alive than ever. The walls, the crystals, The air itself seemed to celebrate the partnership between human and Xylery. They had discovered that life, whether on Earth, in the palace, or among the stars, was meant to be experienced, shared, and cherished. And as Alex gazed at the distant planets and shimmering galaxies, he realized something profound. The universe was not just vast and unknown. It was full of connection, discovery, and the endless possibilities of shared life together. Human and Queen had not only survived, they had thrived. They had embraced creativity, curiosity, and joy, and in doing so, had begun a new chapter for themselves, the palace, and Zephyr's people. The adventure was far from over, but for now, in the soft glow of the palace and under the endless stars, Alex, Chen, and Queen Zephyr stood side by side, ready to explore the universe, one shared experience at a time.